Welcome to a cold and wet Brands Hatch. I'm Colin Goodwin and we're here with Porsche and two Taycans, and the job today is to establish some endurance records for EVs. There's a few records that have been established for electric cars, but they are almost all about top speed and acceleration rather than endurance. We are hoping to break 12 records, and the one that we're really hoping to achieve is 1,000 kilometres. We've got 13 hours of track time to do this, which is quite tight. We're going to start at 7 o'clock in the morning, run throughout the day. We've got a curfew at 8 o'clock in the evening. So if all goes according to plan, we'll have established all those records. So we've got a 4S and a Turbo S, two teams of drivers, including Richard Attwood, two young drivers who are current Porsche champions, Jonathan Palmer and Rob Durrant from Porsche.
Brands Hatch has been the scene of a number of victories for Porsche in endurance racing, 1,000-kilometre races, and the two we're celebrating and commemorating with our tribute liveries. The victory in 1970 of the 917 with Pedro Rodriguez at the wheel that placed first in the BOAC 500. Richard Attwood and Hans Hermann in the Salzburg car placed third, so they had a podium finish in that race 50 years ago this year. And the other win that we're celebrating was Jonathan Palmer and Jan Lammers in the 956 here at Brands Hatch with 1,000 kilometres of 1984. We have a really good driver lineup. So these guys, they're used to going fast, but they're also proving very, very good at understanding how to just maximise their driving style to promote efficiency over the lap, which I think is going to make us the difference.
It's a totally different ball game. We've got a delta lap time to sort of aim at, averaging 70 kilowatt hours per 100 miles for energy consumption. And that, for me, that's been the difficult bit. We've got some young drivers here, all regular Porsche racers, and they seem to be able to go around at an amazingly quick pace and not use much energy. And I'm finding it really difficult.
Just got in from my first stint in the car and back out again later on, but really strange and quite unique experience really. You're trying to do laps of Brands Hatch while trying to save energy, yet still trying to go quickly at the same time. So it's quite a bit to focus on, managing the battery life while accelerating out of corners, but not too quickly. So hour and 40 in the car, which around Brands Indy goes quite quickly. There's obviously a lot of changes around the circuit and variety of corners, so perfect venue for the event of what we're trying to do today.
The weird thing is that whereas you're kind of used to coming to a corner hot, brakes, pitch it in, what you're doing is having to judge your braking and coming off and just literally carrying every mile an hour in, just let it scrub to the apex, and then you're just feeding in the power on the exit.
Yeah, just being as smooth as possible, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was the aim of the game. So early on I was just wasting energy because I was kind of coming out Druids, giving it a bit of the Pedro Rodriguez, and then sort of going, oh yeah, it's downhill now to Graham Hill.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Harry King, Porsche Carrera Cup GB Junior driver. Today we're here at Brands Hatch for the electric vehicle 1,000 km challenge, taking part in the Porsche Taycan. The challenges of driving an electric vehicle, so you have to be very efficient with the way you drive. Obviously the complete opposite compared to what I'm used to. I mean, there's a lot of different driving styles and techniques you can use to get the absolute utmost from the vehicle. So my teammates Colin, Goodwin and Richard Attwood are joining me in the Porsche Taycan. Richard's got a huge amount of experience in all sorts of motorsport, so it's great to be associated with him and having a real good time.
Rob Durrant, who was the master boffin behind planning all of today's event, came up with a couple of delta lap times, or in other words, target lap times that we should be looking at. And in the Salzburg 4S, it was 1 minute 08. In the Turbo S, 1 minute 11 seconds, which doesn't sound very fast, but in the wet, it wasn't particularly easy. It's a good job the stability's so good, because I'd have gone off on the first corner. Right from the standing start, it was all over the place.
So
I just wasn't expecting it to be that slippery.
I don't think there was a single lap I didn't turn in and just feel the back end sort of just
they told me that you said use the outside of clearways.
Yeah.
That helped a lot.
Yeah, because even Harry, I mean, I watched him, he's in his sort of early laps, but you can see as he sort of turns in, you can see, I think he found particularly his first lap, you could really see it move as he went round.
Battery temperature.
Battery
Okay.
temperature.
That's
so at the
quite
moment
high,
it's
isn't
at
it?
53 degrees a minute. So when you're out on track,
Yeah.
what's it been running at, Chris?
40.
About 40.
40
Yeah.
nicely,
And that's just your normal 12 volt systems. Tyre pressures will be on the display here.
Yeah.
You've got your different range modes, you know, like on the 911.
Stay in range though.
Yeah, stay in range, so that's just there.
It's the first time I've driven a battery electric vehicle. It's great that it's a Porsche. The Taycan is obviously an exceptional car. It's made a big impact on the road, and it's obviously the ideal vehicle to be the first one to try and take a record for battery electric vehicles on the circuit, and the 1,000-kilometre record is so appropriate here at Brands Hatch. Clearly you've got to conserve the energy. It's a pretty critical thing. It's a little bit like the technique that we used to use in Group C racing when we had 100 litres of fuel for each stint, 6 stints in a 1,000-kilometre race, and you had to eke out the fuel to get the best combination of lap time, but also you didn't want to do more pit stops than you needed to. You know, it's early days clearly for battery electric vehicles, but this is definitely setting the standard, and it's great to be part of this record attempt.
Got fastest lap as well.
That's par. That was fun. Enjoyed it. It's hard though because you haven't got any time or delta. You just got the guy saying, "Yeah, that was 108." You're like, "Okay, that worked." And you come around again, you're like, "Yeah, it was 109." You're like,
You've not got a sort of a delta in the car, so midway around the lap you've no idea whether you're on par for the right time or not. So it's tricky, but once you get in the rhythm you sort of feel what's the right time and how much speed to carry through each corner. And
I think the track's a bit, I wouldn't say dry, but I think there's more dry lines. But the challenge, I just got to use less energy. I'm going to worry less about the lap time and think a bit more about how much energy it's using, which is harder than going fast in it, really.
That was really good, Richard. That was you were on the Delta. Consumption was better than what we expected, so you were obviously very economical out there. So.
Conditions got a bit better, so
That's good.
yeah, it helped a bit, but it's never going to clear.
It's still ever so difficult. I did get the energy use down a bit, but it's ever so difficult.
Yeah, it's just practicing on the neck, I think. But it was yeah. I mean, energy consumption was a lot lower than the first stint, and I think you'll find that every stint as you
Yeah.
sort of get to grips with it.
We just,
It
it just feels so unnatural. I mean, how the young guys are doing 107 and with good energy consumption. The charging's really quick. We've got this huge, great charging unit from Germany, 2.1 megawatts, and it's charging these Taycans to 80% in about 20-25 minutes, which is really impressive. You can see why Porsche have won so many sports car races, because they've approached this in the same sort of scientific way. So yeah, it's a really fascinating experience.
we started this morning around 7 a.m. and are due to finish before 8 p.m. this evening, so it's a full day, a lot of driving, which only split between 3 or 4 of us in the car is quite taxing, but yeah, the comfort that the Taycan provides is nice, so it's a lot more comfortable than the race cars we're normally used to. So yeah, like I said, we're about halfway through at the moment, and fingers crossed everything will carry on to run smoothly and we'll end a successful day.
So what was your usage then on the...
61.3.
Oh, that's very good.
So we went another 10 laps more than we expected. So,
See, we're learning all the while.
I know, yeah. So,
and you know that is a problem because we haven't tested, have we?
No, I know.
The only one who's tested is Rob.
Yeah, and Rob was straight out the box, nice and quick.
We have 515 laps that we would need to cover to take the 12th and final record, which is the 1,000-kilometre record. But there's 11 other records that are gradually tumbling as we get to that point. We're trying to maintain that consistent lap time, and the idea is within that lap time we're trying to be as efficient as we possibly can to get the cars around this race circuit in those 515 laps in less than 13 hours.
I was finding though, braking slightly heavier was actually better.
Yeah.
Because it was then braking heavier at first and then easing up as you got into the corner, so it wasn't sliding.
Yeah, because the regen's so strong. I do think that there's something to be said for actually braking.
I was finding that I was better to just drag my left foot on the brake a little bit for a while.
Yeah.
And then it was just a bit more in the green.
To get to the finish, I think it's now 2 stints. We've got to try and get about 70 laps out of each stint, which is going to be tough in these conditions.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much grip there is there compared to everywhere else.
Yeah, well, the grip is much more consistent now. Far better than first thing this morning.
Yes, car 70, Salzburg has completed 1,000 kilometres over.
Brilliant, thanks Gethin.
That was good.
It was getting close towards the end. We only had about 10-15% left, but we did it. It was a tricky one because obviously we were a little bit behind on time, having done the extra stop. So I was trying to sort of go as quick as I could, and then looking down and seeing it's eating the battery. So, but yeah, we sort of managed it and did it.
Over the past 13 hours, we've just set 13 new UK records for EVs. We've done all with 2 standard production Taycans, fully road legal cars, still got the number plates on. It's a phenomenal achievement, not least given that it's in mid-December, and it all wouldn't be possible without a phenomenal team of people at Porsche.
Well, that went spectacularly well. It was a pretty challenging task to run 2 EVs all day and establish 12 records. In fact, we've managed to do 13 because not only did we achieve 1,000 kilometres, but we also established a record for 12 hours. So it's been really amazing. I found it really challenging trying to drive as quick as these young professionals or Richard Attwood to sort of match their lap times, but a different ball game trying to be efficient with the energy. What really impressed me is how quickly the cars were charged. As anybody's got experience of EVs, they don't necessarily charge as quickly as manufacturers claim they can. We were charging the Taycans up to 80%. 20-25 minutes for adding that much juice to them is pretty impressive. That's quite an achievement really, because 12 hours, an awful lot could have gone wrong. We could have had trouble with charging. The weather's been pretty nasty. We didn't get a puncture. Cars ran perfectly. It's been a fascinating day, really interesting, and I think these records are going to take quite a bit of beating. Yeah, it's been great fun, really good.